And now when we flip the line of scrimmage and look at Quinn Ewers and this Texas wide receiver core, and then we see, of course, Bama, they contain the run. That's what we expect. The run, only 3 yards per carry against Middle Tennessee. And then Will Anderson, obviously, moving on to the NFL. Where does that pass rush come from? Of course, Dallas Turner on the other side. Just your thoughts about how Bama is going to approach this game against Ewers and company.
It's going to be intriguing, Mark, because against MTSU, Dallas Turner did not record a sack, but he did have 5 to 6 quarterback hurries. So he was in the backfield quite frequently. You had Quandarius Robinson, who had a sack in the matchup. Chris Braswell had a sack in the matchup. Deontay Lawson had some pressures out there, had a sack in the matchup. So I think Kevin Steele, as the defensive coordinator, he will have some pressure and looks to come after Quinn Ewers, but I think he'll also have some looks where he'll disguise the secondary and force Quinn Ewers to read, where am I trying to go to here with this football? Terrion Arnold spoke about today. Texas has got big-time receivers, led by Xavier Worthy, who has big play speed. So the question is, trusting your technique, staying in the hip pocket of these wide receivers, not allowing them to do what they want to do out there in the field, but also at the same time, this is a big game for Alabama's defensive front, affecting Quinn Ewers in every way possible, whether it's pressure in the pocket, not allowing him to step up. When he breaks contain of the pocket, if he chooses to do so, having guys that can spy on him, run him down, or corral him up. And then most importantly, just not allowing him to feel comfortable by any stretch of the imagination. Kevin Steele will mix a lot of things up.
Now, one of the big keys for Texas staying into the game last year and really having a big offensive season, despite only going 8-5, was their offensive line was much better than it's been in years. And they feel very confident about the way they've recruited, developed, and have future NFL players all over the place up there. You mentioned, as we led you toward that wide receiver DB matchup, Kool-Aid McKinstry, one of the best in the business, if not the best. And we mentioned Xavier Worthy and others, Tavian Sanders, and just a loaded Texas wide receiver core. Is that a situation you can see McKinstry following Worthy across the field, or will they play their standard defense, stay where they're supposed to be located on each side of the field, and just whomever matches up, matches up?
I think you could see McKinstry following Worthy, but at the same time, you could possibly see Terrion Arnold following Worthy. Terrion wants this challenge. He wants this matchup. He talked about being a part of that just a season ago. So you could see McKinstry meshed up on Worthy. You could see Terrion Arnold meshed up on Worthy. Or we could see a situation where, wherever they're put on the field, let the matchup be the matchup. But just from hearing Terrion Arnold talk today, he kind of wants that matchup. He kind of thrives on, put me on the best guy. I want this competition. I want this test. And going into his third year, his second full year playing corner, Terrion kind of understands what he's supposed to do now on the field.
A familiar name to SEC fans would be one A.D. Mitchell from Georgia, transferred to Texas. He had a touchdown against Rice. I mentioned Jatavian Sanders. He gave Bama fits. He didn't roll up a ton of catches and yards from what I remember, but they had all sorts of issues holding him, trying to keep him from catching the football, and a number of PI calls against this wide receiver unit. So even though Bama came away with a win, I would think that this defensive backfield, to a certain extent, wants to make amends on a game in which it was a little uneven for him last year.
Right, a little uneven. There were a lot of penalties. There was penalties in the game. There were penalties, a lot of uneven play, and it was Travaris Robinson's first year, coaching the corners, being a part of his secondary. So you look at it from his perspective, he's in his second year at Alabama now, full-on secondary coach, coaching both corners and safeties. So he's got that experience, and now the guys in that room with him, they have a full gist of, hey, they're locked in for this matchup. They're all the way locked in. Now, Saban did give an injury update on Malachi Moore and Jalen Key, two guys who are a bit banged up there against MTSU. Nothing too serious for those two. They're both listed as day-to-day. They'll be off their feet today in practice and possibly tomorrow. They'll give it a go Wednesday, could possibly give it a go tomorrow. but more than likely we'll give it a go Wednesday. Nothing serious on those two guys. Saban does expect those two to be able to play here against Texas.
You know, Stephen, Alabama's taken criticism as a program for playing all their big non-conference games at a neutral site. They haven't traveled anywhere since going, well, this past year, of course, to Texas, of course, last year. But before that, it was a long time going to Penn State. But the flip side of that is that they haven't had huge non-conference games at home. You know, always big matchups with the likes of the SEC Western Division foes and Tennessee coming to town and so forth. But in terms of a big-time national brand coming to Tuscaloosa, it's been a long time.
It has been, and that's the reason why these players are so excited. It's the reason why Coach Saban is excited about this matchup. You've got College Game Day. It'll be in Tuscaloosa, so that ups the ante on things also. The matchup will be at 6 p.m. via ESPN, a night game. So there's so much to look forward to. The fans are chomping at the bit to get out there at Bryant-Denny to enjoy the lighting feature at night. So there is so much excitement. There's so much anticipation going into this matchup. The first time that Sarkisian back in Tuscaloosa since 2020, when he was the offensive coordinator for this team, helping to get to an undefeated national championship season. So much at stake here and on the line early in the football season.